Physiognomy is pretty much real. The art of being able to read somebody's personality or character just by looking at their face and can be interpreted in a number of ways. You might say that this is a pseudoscience, but the fact is that we have this, let's say, gut feeling when we see somebody for the first time and we look at their faces and we look at their demeanor, their body language, and that's something that you absolutely must learn how to develop, because that's a superpower that you can develop. In this case, I would like you to take a look at the new UK Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, and tell me what you see as we say a couple things about her. You already know, you already can imagine where I'm going. You know that sometimes you can see, it's almost comical, right? That you see somebody's face, and I have to say, it's like this case. You see somebody's face, you almost see an archetypical Disney villain in the flesh. And you say that in the era of AI, it was this some kind of, I don't know, AI rehash of some Disney villains like Cruella de Vil and Jafar, or just Ursula, or roll up into one. And no, this is a real person. And the effect it has on you, maybe it's the same it had on me, is that sometimes you, how to say that, I've seen some videos of her. I have a video here of her. I'm going to play this video when she's talking about digital ID for the United Kingdom. I'm going to play this so you can see the way that she speaks.
Pull factors that are making the UK a destination of choice for those that are on the move around the world, and I want to make sure that we can clamp down on that. I think that a system of digital ID can also help with illegal working, enforcement of other laws as well. So there is a broader piece of work here to be done by government. But
Well, in the sense of digital ID, by the way, this is something that has been really thought out in Europe mainly, in which you can essentially have, you can be tracked. Everything that you do could be tracked digitally, as in not only they want to abolish cash, of course, but also being able to track every single move and essentially have a chip on you, on the thing that we carry with us all day. This stuff, this devices. You could have an ID in there. But we are not here to talk about digital ID, although I should make a video about that. We should take a look at this, and you already heard her, and she doesn't sound as bad, right? Even the BBC is trying to, good wash her and say that why Shabana Mahmood appointment could mean harder line on immigration. Yeah, because she's going to be in charge of the UK's immigration of Home Office. And apparently Home Office is, this people here, you see the staff of the Home Office looks exactly like a United Colors of Benetton ad, but without the white people. No white people here. We don't want white people, because white people are dangerous. And that's precisely in the words of Mahmood herself. Here we go. We play this.
The people that you see holding the English flag most of the time down my neck of the woods will be the EDL, and they are white and they are male and they're bad people, and they want to divide our communities from.
Yeah, they're bad people. They're white. They're bad. All those, raising those flags in the UK. Most of them are white. Most of them are bad, and they must be stopped at all costs and something like that. So that's the deal. That the UK, she was appointed by Keir Starmer. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Two things before we go to the facial analysis part is that she is also a literal Islamist activist. She is always talking about Gaza, Palestine, as in the UK in itself doesn't matter. It's secondary to what she wants. And also, She was at a rally calling for a globalized intifada. So, uh, this is, you already know now you have heard her talk. You know what she stands for. You have a better idea. Maybe the gut feeling that you had at the start begins to make sense, right? But I want to make it clear that she doesn't sound as bad when she speaks. And I'm really sure that I don't know if she has children. I have no idea. Maybe she has. I don't know. Maybe she's a great aunt. She looks like those aunts that can be really nice on those family meetings, but at the same time they are really ruthless on other scenarios. And that's one of the things with physiognomy. You have a first impression of what you think the person is. And sometimes the person's way of behavior, their behavior, maybe they speak in a sweet tone of voice, maybe they are really polite, maybe they are charismatic, maybe they are even magnetic, but there's something that just rings you, that rubs you the wrong way. That's the thing that I'm talking about. And you might think at the same time, since I've said this so many times, I've spoken about racism so many times, Jesus, maybe you are biased towards her in some way. Maybe I wouldn't say that, because I've seen many Muslim women who don't give me this bad juju feeling. It's I could say that is not the non-technical, non-scientific way of describing it, but it's important. And when you take a look at her portfolio, at her resume, then you understand how important it is to learn to develop this ability. And how do you develop this? How do you develop the ability to read people on a first hunt? You have to pause the speed of your brain. You have to slow down your brain. We nowadays are living way too fast. Having all my notifications of Twitter on for a couple days has been insane. I have a notification every couple seconds or so. I want to be on top of the news just as a test. And yes, I have fumbled the bag a couple times, just reacting too fast. And I think my levels of anxiety have risen, and I have a bit of trouble sleeping again. So I need to slow down. And it's something that we have to do nowadays. And we need to also to limit screen time. That is extremely important. Limit screen time. Why? Because the constant scrolling hijacks our attention, hijacks the way that we tap into our inner silence. That voice that screams without speaking. If you hear voices, please consult your nearest psychiatrist. But that voice, that real voice, is silent and speaks to you in a way that tells you, hey, this is something wrong in here. But if you are in this constant scrolling, this very fast way of living, just waiting for the other person to shut up so you can express your own ideas, and you're always just small talk, talking about other people and just jumping from topic to topic without really giving yourself time to pause and giving yourself time to think about yourself. It's important. I've spoken about that in other videos. You will miss it. You will miss the ability. You will reduce your ability to be able to read people's faces, because they will give you the primal gut feeling, and that gut feeling lasts only for a couple seconds, because instantly you begin to judge the way that they are dressed, the way, of course, I would say that maybe this was kind of a biased way to portray Mahmoud. Maybe this was a more neutral way to portray her, possibly. That is important as well. But again, it's her face that we were talking about. You were going to start analyzing the clothes, the voice, the demeanor. Maybe they are, again, they overwhelm you with politeness and sweet talking and stuff, and you say, all right, this person is actually nice. I have nothing to fear. But that's exactly what we are missing. And I have missed that. I have lost that ability many times. And I'm pretty sure that if I continue, for example, to just overwhelm myself with notifications, with doom scrolling and stuff, I will lose a lot of it. And you need to slow down. You need to slow down. You need to be around people, something that it doesn't come easy to me. You need to listen to people, try to catch every single detail. That part's the one that I like. I usually like to see two people talking to each other, so I can just sit back, not having to deal with the conversation itself. But all that is important because it's something that we miss and we lose if we don't exercise it. What does it have to do with the situation in the UK? Well, a lot, because that same thing. Nowadays, you can see anyone's history in the internet. But what if you are, maybe not in the UK, maybe in your country where you are watching this from, and you have to deal with a situation and when you need to assess people on the spot? It's important to be able to listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, and if something rubs you the wrong way, make sure to stop, listen, and act accordingly. Stay safe. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.